Welcome back to another Bazaar patch notes video. I'm rather incoherent, and this patch was desperately needed. Here's the long story short. Pufferfish has been removed from the game. They disabled several things because of bugs and because of balance problems. Blast doors, fiber optics, heat shield, and railgun were all bugged and had to be removed to prevent people from being either abusing those bugs or losing runs because the items don't work correctly. Of the lot of them, all I know is that heat shield was going off and giving more shield than it should have, and fiber optics was charging your item second to the left instead of furthest to the right. The most important thing by far is that Pufferfish, Snowflake, and the Eagle Talisman level up reward have all been removed. I'm really glad that they are not doing the knee-jerk thing a bunch of people said, where they're like, you gotta get rid of burn and poison scaling, rah! I don't think that's the case. No one's out here complaining about like catfish and jellyfish, or blowgun, even trebuchet, even like crazy Dooley builds. These things are strong, maybe too strong. Specifically trebuchet and Dooley, not the rest of the shit I just listed. But damage over time isn't generally the problem. It's a specific few sources of damage over time. Pufferfish is by far the biggest offender, but also Eagle Talisman's a huge part of it. When you're cranking these damage over time sources and triggering them non-stop, they can crit now. And if you can scale them to 100%, they can deal twice as much damage as they're supposed to. So Eagle Talisman not being able to just guarantee them 100% crit's a huge deal. Also, other builds that have been really strong, stuff like Vanessa with a silencer and one weapon, whether it's Cutlass or double barrel shotgun with a bunch of ammo upgrades or whatever, there have been a lot of different Vanessa builds that are just one weapon builds that go to 100% crit without even using a crow's nest, and that's their plan. Eagle Talisman is the clear outlier currently of all the loot level up options. Snowflake obviously had to go. The fact that this is just an icy enchant loot item is absolutely crazy, and these removed encounters are just removed because they cannot turn off items from encounters. If you remember in the previous meta, you could still get Crook while Crook was disabled by fighting the Zookeeper. I assume it would be the same thing right now, where you fight Frost Street Champion, it gets you a Snowflake, you fight Wandering Shoal, it gets you a Pufferfish. To truly remove those items, they had to remove the monsters with them. I haven't talked about Pufferfish much, but I am going to mention it now. The reason I'm not uploading gameplay content today or tomorrow is because I don't want to play in a meta with Pufferfish. I made a couple of different videos where I went like 7 to 9 wins with relatively sick Dooley builds, and on the whole, I hemorrhaged MMR trying to play Dooley because I think Dooley's really cool in the current meta. And again, Pig is just in a sad spot because it's the damage over time meta and he doesn't have damage over time. But my experience is just like inherently so salty in a Pufferfish world, where if I play against somebody and they're not playing Pufferfish, then great, we're both obviously self-sabotaging by choosing not to play Vanessa and trying to force the best build in the game, but at least we're having a fair game. However, when I go up against Vanessa, it's so frustrating, because every time I see a Vanessa, I'm like, oh, he doesn't have a Pufferfish. That sucks for him, he must have missed it. Where I'm already assuming that if you're playing Vanessa, you're playing for Pufferfish. So that's already like a negative thing that's coloring my experience. Then if you have pieces for Pufferfish and then it hit it, I'm like, ha, he got punished, there's justice in the world. But realistically, Pufferfish is so forcible that they will have it, and instead we start playing the game where I'm looking at your board and judging you harshly because you're playing the most broken thing in the game, and basically if I win, it's because you fucked up. I cannot count the number of times in videos that I'm not going to release, where I encountered a Vanessa, they had a jellyfish and a Pufferfish, the jellyfish was not adjacent to the Pufferfish, and I won, and I was just like, yeah, I mean, that's not how you do the build. That's just, there are so many people who have no idea how the game works, forcing this thing that's obviously the best thing in the game, and you can beat those people. But when you're fighting things like what I posted yesterday, you don't really beat them for most builds in the game. There are so many people on the Reddit who are like, yeah, you can go max health on Pig and win. And like, not really. If you're beating Pufferfish builds with max health Pig, I'm assuming that what's happening is you're on like day 13 plus and your max health has gotten truly outrageous, or you high rolled incredibly hard with how early and how frequently you got your max health upgrades. But when Vanessa is able to reliably go off the moment the combat starts with things like rigged, oceanic rush, and most commonly holsters, and then go infinite immediately from that start of combat trigger with any combination of astrolabe, water wheel, jellyfish, rowboat, skills that grant haste on X, like, you can reliably make Vanessa builds that start of combat go infinite with Pufferfish, and you can scale Pufferfish relatively easily by like day 10 to apply at least 45 poison in application. That's like a lowball estimate of where you should be. You can see Vanessa's doing so much more. You can see Vanessa's with like 100% crit and 80 poison, like I had in yesterday's video. 700 poison per second is not going to be something a max health pig survives until much later in the game, and the way you actually beat pufferfish builds, as pretty much anyone else in the late game, is that the good pufferfish builds already won before day 13. So you're fighting the bad ones that are left over. It's just been a really negative meta for me as a competitive person, where if I'm not playing pufferfish, the game is basically a roulette wheel where I see what pufferfish build I interact with, because everyone else is. And it puts me in a really negative mind space and results in content where I'm either very negative about the game or just playing pufferfish over and over again. I didn't want to play pufferfish over and over again on the video, so instead I've been grinding out Dooley, getting a bunch of like 7 to 9 win runs that I'm not happy uploading because it's just me losing to pufferfish or being salty as I win against people who play pufferfish poorly. It was bad. This was egregiously out of line, to the point that a ton of people on Reddit were like, you need to roll back the patch entirety. This patch was rushed. This patch was a mistake. There's so much anger in the community. And so many people assuming they know what the solution is and telling the devs what the solution is. The most important thing is this. They needed to disable it pretty much immediately. I'm glad they did. But I'm not going to be uploading a video today because I could not enjoy playing the game with pufferfish in it, and I didn't want to make more videos on pufferfish. There probably won't be an upload tomorrow either. I might be able to play early in the morning, I don't know. But if I'm able to play, I will. I just don't want to play tonight because I want to hit the pufferfish ghost. For the next 2 hours, all of my losses will still be against pufferfish. But I am looking forward to seeing what was laying underneath the surface of the meta pushed down by pufferfish. Spoilers, by the way, it was Burn Dooley. Get ready, you're all about to get roasted tomorrow. So with these encounters getting disabled, one of the main effects of it, with Wandering Shoal out, I think it's day 8, the other options are the Weather Doctor, the Burninator bot, and the Robo Bouncer. And all of those have good weapons they can drop for a Crook build. And it's even more important to get that now than ever because you need to run 5 medium items, which actually ends up making this a fairly meaningful buff to Crook because you're now guaranteed a shot on day 8 at a super powerful weapon instead of having a 25% chance of getting Wandering Shoal and not getting anything worth adding to your build, at least with Crook. Anyways, I'm not going to stretch this out. Pufferfish is dead. Thank God for that. Because it turns out that highly unethical pufferfish builds are not just doable, they're consistently forceable. I've seen people talking about how they're like, yeah, I just take the extract reward even when I don't have pufferfish, man. I just am completely willing to lose the first 4 days looking for pufferfish, and I've been going 10 wins consistently, taking extract rewards for shit I don't have, and going to every shop rolling for pufferfish. I'm like, oh wow, it's that good? And they're like, yeah. My build right now, it's literally jellyfish, holsters, and nothing else. I'm just waiting for pufferfish, and it's fine. I'm gonna go 10 wins. I'm so salty about it. I'm gonna ramble on about it too about myself. I'm not gonna let this go any further. I've said what needs to be said about the patch. We're done here. No outro. Good luck in the new meta.